I got a movie to go to at 6:20, so we got a little bit of time still. We've been in here for about 40 minutes. I'm sick of them sweatsuits and cordy hats. Let's talk about it. Oh, his tweet. I hate when people try to, I'm doing this for my generation. Like,
I see why he called it rap devil now, because a rap god, the opposite.
mm-hmm. Life is still real on my side, and I had to take time from the grind to defend myself from someone I called an idol. Love rap devil. I mean, his flow on this song is very reminiscent of Eminem. Like, it feels a lot like Eminem. Oh, like, there were parts of the song where I thought it sounded like Eminem. Like, you know, some people just have such, like, specific flows that when you hear it, like, you can hear the flow in somebody else. Like, I don't remember who I was listening to. I think it was Travis Scott on the new Travis Scott album.
Kanye.
There's a song where he sounds like Kanye.
He sounds like Kanye's whole career.
You think so? He's biting off Kanye's flow a little bit.
Have you been on like this trend where they take a song and slow it down and put reverb on it, and it like sounds totally different, but it sounds like way better at the same time?
Not sure
I'll
what
show
you
you an
mean.
example. You know the song Astro Thunder on Astro World?
I probably know it if I heard it. And I listened to that album like 2 or 3 times and then kind of set it down. There's not a whole lot of songs I'd want to return to.
So this is the original?
Uh-huh.
I don't have someone to be like, that I can vent to and be like, yo, like, dun 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 dun.
I hate the trend of face tattoos. I hate that trend. Oh, it's just the audio.
Seems like the life I feel's a little distant, yeah. Seems like the life I need.
What's this?
Seems like the life I need's a little.
And this sounds like a million times better. And it sounds a lot like
so
Kanye,
weird.
and it slows down. Listen.
What the?
Seems like the life I feel. Seems like the life I feel's a little distant, yeah.
Isn't that tight?
That
Seems
is
like the life I need. Seems like the life I need's
It's
a
like
little
a,
distant,
it's like a
yeah.
smoke sesh song.
Oh yeah, that's
Like,
what I was
it's, yeah,
thinking.
it's not something you can get hyped to, really. It's just like a, you know, sit back and like.
I think it'd be cool if you
Trip
just
out
like
to it.
put this version on the album. Like all the
That
other
would be
songs
really
are
cool.
fast paced, and this one's just like chilling by itself.
That would be sick. Yeah, that sounds really good, actually. I wonder what songs. I wonder what other songs.
He has a whole bunch, but I haven't found one that sounds that good.
I say girl.
It's another topic though. Besides music, music is so easy to talk about.
It is. We could just like keep falling down the rabbit hole of music if we wanted to. Yeah, Eminem's still one of the best, dude. He always will be. You can't. I don't think you can do anything to like relinquish that status that he has.
Well, unless he like comes out like Harvey Weinstein or something. Like,
Right.
raping women.
Right.
Because then that trumps everything you've ever done.
Yeah. That's been a problem in Hollywood for like a long time.
It's never gonna stop.
You don't think so?
Because girls, like, they're always gonna need gigs and shit, and guys love pussy, so.
They're gonna. So do you think the girls are working the guys? Getting
Well,
gigs
same
by.
thing. I'm sure it happens, but it's probably more rare.
Yeah, it's probably a little less, you know,
Could-
prominent because I mean, if they could like, you know,
But if,
they could just give it up and get whatever they want.
true, but if like the girl has that status and like she has that power over a guy, why would she be fucking like a nobody? She could fuck somebody big, you know?
True. I guess that's right. I mean, how many of those girls do you think wanted to fuck Harvey Weinstein so they could get a part?
Well, probably a lot.
You think? So, but he's at fault.
Yeah,
See, you can flip it around. You can kind of play, you know.
It's really just like he said, she said. You
Yeah.
never really know.
Yeah, it really is.
But
Well,
when it's so many girls though, that's when it's like, okay.
Right.
It's kind of weird.
and I mean, you don't know like the situation for every single female.
Yeah.
You know, like what Bill Cosby did was fucked up. Like we know that most of those situations he drugged those girls, and like you know,
I
fuck
think
them
that's
while they're
crazy.
unconscious.
Like he just might not have like no game at all because you're that famous.
He's
like,
Bill fucking.
You should be able to get some pussy if you want.
Seriously.
You could
Maybe
at least
he's-
pay for it, Jesus.
Maybe he's like a. What do you call it when you like fucking dead bodies? He's
A mortician?
He's a. Those people who work with dead bodies. I mean, most of them are probably, you know,
I'm sure there's some
Slide.
morticians that fuck dead bodies.
you know, sliding their dicks in between the toes of the dead bodies. It's a, what is it, dude? It's like narco something. Oh, fuck. Not narcoleptic, but it's something else. People like fucking dead bodies. I mean, if the girl's drugged and like,
Narcissist.
she's a narcissist. Do you think you're a narcissist? No. I don't know if I am or not. Because sometimes, like, I watch that Chatting with the narcissism expert.
I didn't see that one.
You haven't seen that one? That one's really good. It's really good. And sometimes I'll like do stuff and I think, wow, am I being a narcissist?
Well, yeah,
right
I guess
now?
we all are, but
Right.
it just depends on your level
Of narcissism. I think it's when it starts like negatively impacting the relationships with other people that you have. That's when it becomes a problem, I would think. You know,
I'd like to say that I'm not, but in other people's eyes, I'm sure they can
they
see
might
glimpses.
seem that way.
Yeah.
I don't think you are. I think you're naughty. Man.
Narcissist is like when you're obsessed with yourself, right?
Yeah, it's like an extreme obsession with yourself, and you're like, it's at the expense of other people too.
Yeah, I know some narcissists then.
You think so? I'd ask you to name a few, but we can't really do that, can we?
No.
Nah, we can't name any. But yeah, that was a really
I
good
can say
chat.
this though. My manager is a fucking narcissist.
Really?
He's the most narcissistic, condescending, like cynical. Like you just have to meet this guy, and you have to be around him for like a short period of time to pick up on him.
Yeah.
But he is something else.
How old is he?
Like 44, 45.
Yeah. Does he have wife, kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro.
How long has he been working at?
20 years.
That sucks. You think he was always that way?
Yeah, because of the shit he
So-
tells me, like from like his teenage days and shit like that. It's all relative to today.
He's always had that.
And I think that's a part of the reason why he's still there today. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like just
It's holding him back.
yeah.
I think so.
Cause some days he has like good days where like he's very optimistic and like he talks about like goals and shit like that. But
Mhm.
he's just like his biggest adversary just holds himself back.
Mhm.
And it's like way too late now. You got 5 kids and you're 40. It's like what can you do?
What else can you do?
I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about
kinda
life
have to.
before, and I try to tell him, which is weird, that like there's more to life, without being like too, like without trying to like step on his toes, because he is a manager of this store for like 20
Right,
years, so
right,
it's
right.
like I don't want to shit on his job,
Yeah.
but I try to like convince him and stuff, but he's not trying to hear none of that.
No, he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
I think. Do you think it's because somewhere deep down he knows that it's true and that he's missed it all already?
Oh, yeah, and he's just giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like I said, when you're married, you have 5 kids, and you have to be at a like certain location every day for
Mhm.
48 hours a week.
It's
like,
sad.
what else can you really do?
You think it's a part of like the system? You think that's how? You think the system wants us to be that way? Because I mean, if you think about it, he's been working in the same job for 20 years, and so that's consistency.
Yeah.
And he's constantly bringing money into the company, and he's like, you know, doing a service for the economy. Like he's like one of those people that helps keep the system, like he keeps the system working. He's a cog in the machine that always like runs.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you think maybe the system's developed to keep us that way?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You think so?
But they hide it very well. Like I ran into a problem where I wanted to go full time there,
Mm-hmm.
but in order to go full time, you have to work no less than 40 hours a week, and
They expect you to do overtime.
no, they don't, which
No.
is good, but one, the pay is shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want you to work these crazy hours, and like you never get out of there on time because you get stuck doing shit. So it's
Right.
like you want to do shit outside of work. Like
You want to have a
be
life.
productive, but it's like impossible there.
Yeah.
Because he's there, my manager, he shows me his paycheck sometimes. He'll be there over 100 hours a week or 2 weeks.
Bullshit.
Yeah, so he'll
Oh
work
my
like
God.
50 to 60 hour weeks. And has time to do nothing.
That's wild. I could not do that. I would feel like I was wasting my life.
And just a full timer, like you don't even
That's-
have that many responsibilities. So just imagine a store manager.
Oh my God, I could not do that.
It's
Would
just-
they would they pay you salary if you were a manager?
Yeah,
Or-
but it's not that much.
No.
It's decent in Fort Wayne,
Mhm.
but anywhere else it's like whatever.
That's kind of how it is at my job. Like, if they offered me a manager position, I would probably decline, just because the pay raise wouldn't be astronomical from where I'm at now.
Mhm.
Like, I could just keep working there, and it wouldn't make much of a difference on my, bi-weekly paycheck, which is fucking
But it'll
stupid.
fuck your mind up. You have so much more responsibilities.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I'm just too scared to, honestly, because I have so many dreams that I don't want to let go of.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck in that.
Yeah, because it's easy to get. I got stuck in it before, like going to school full time and working at a factory. Like
I could not.
I did nothing but that for like half of a year.
I could not imagine that. You get to a point where you're like, okay, there's got to be something else. Like,
Yeah.
I have to do something else.
Just imagine like being in a factory at midnight to 6 a.m. Just the thoughts in my head.
No.
It was fucking me up.
I could not do that. You're a bit of a slave.
I feel bad for my stepdad because he's worked at the same factory, same position for 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, but he could always quit.
Yeah, but it's the same case. Like, it's hard when you got kids and you got bills and shit.
You get kind of stuck.
It's a big risk.
Hmm. Freedom really isn't free, is it?
There's no such thing.
That's freedom?
Yeah.
You don't think so?
You can never be free.
From what?
It's like, I don't want to say the system, but like, you can never
But
be
just-
free of this way of living, like this life.
Yeah.
Because even if you're homeless, like, you gotta pay for, I mean, obviously you gotta pay for shit, but it's like, you can't
You still
even,
need-
it's not even easy to be homeless.
You still need money. It's harder to be homeless,
Yeah.
I would think. It's way harder to be homeless. Money is such a weird topic. I feel like we always get on money. Is it still recording?
Makes the world go around.
It does. And we
Or
need
flat.
or flat. God, I hate when people talk about flat earth. No, we're not going to talk about flat earth. It's talked about far too often. Far too often. We're slaves to the system in the sense that we constantly have to make money to spend money.
Mhm.
So it's like a vicious circle. And I don't think you can ever get free of that.
No.
Unless you have so much money that you don't know what to do with it.
I don't even think that's possible though.
Like, I mean, Bill and Melinda Gates, is that her name? Yeah.
But
They
it's
have-
also like,
they have so much money, they're just giving it away. They're literally just giving
But then-
millions of dollars.
but they also need it. Like,
Right.
they can never not live without it now. And then
Mhm.
that would kind of suck too, because we're all like chasing it, and then once you get to a certain level, like you constantly have to have it.
I don't think any of us could live without it.
You know, like
It-
physically we couldn't.
There's a scene in Fight Club where Brad Pitt talks about how our possessions tend to possess us, and he says that like his ideal world would be like to go back to like hunter-gatherer society where like we didn't have currency and there were no classes. You were just a hunter or you were a gatherer, and you wore like leather clothes and you built your own house. And he like has this idea that that's like the purest way to live. Which
Kind of, but I mean,
I think if we didn't know anything else, if we didn't know what this world was like, maybe we would be like satisfied there, you know. But we would always end up like progressing, you know. We'd make it easier for ourselves to hunt.
yeah.
We'd make it easier
we
to
just
gather.
go back to the same point.
Yeah, we'd go right back. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. Everything is circular, I think.
Everything is like, I was thinking it the other day, everything is related to each other. Like,
Mhm.
everything makes sense together for some
Right.
reason.
It's kind of like Buddhism has this philosophy where like everything is like interlinked with each other. So like every action you take, you know, causes something else.
Mhm.
Kind of like butterfly effect,
Yeah.
almost. And it's like, you know, we're a part of the earth as much as the earth is a part of us, you know.
Something interesting you said earlier was our possessions possess us.
Mhm.
I recently got into like this weird side of YouTube where these guys are talking about like the evilness or like the subliminalness in the English language, where they were saying like, think about it, when we go to school, the first thing we learn is how to spell. They were talking about spell and spells. We learn cursive, curses, and then you said possessions and like it possesses us. Like you see how it's like.
Yeah, there's some wordplay there for sure.
And it makes sense, like a possession can possess you. It's kind of weird to think
Yeah,
about.
it can. You own something, like this is a possession, you know, but it tends to possess you at the same time, which is weird. And have you seen the movie Fight Club?
No.
Oh, Eli, do yourself a favor.
You've been telling me about it for years.
Do yourself a favor and watch Fight Club. I have a hard copy of it. I will give it to you.
I have the
You can watch
VHS
it.
copy. I'm just not a big fan of movies for some reason.
Dude, you would like this movie a lot. You would like this a lot because like there's a scene where he goes through all of his like all the things in his apartment, and like I saw like he'd be like, you know, this coffee table came out of a magazine, it was $225. This couch came out of a magazine, it was on sale for this much money. All these things define who I am.
He said that?
Yeah, at the beginning, and then he's like thinking to himself like, this is what I am. Like my possessions are what I am now. Like you are the car you drive. Like you are the laptop that you use. Like, you know, you're an iPhone person or an Android person.
Yeah.
You know, since when in the history of man have we been defined by what we buy? You know, it's like a relatively new kind of concept. You know, like brands.
And I think that's part of the trap.
Part of the, yeah.
Like they're very aware of what materials do to you, and they want you to get
For
they want
sure.
you to get stuck in it.
And think about like commercials too. Like commercials are very tricky in how they like, how they sell things to you. Like think about underwear commercials. Like you ever see a fat underwear model?
You don't ever see fat models at all.
No, yeah, exactly. You don't. You
Like
don't see-
McDonald's, you see these skinny ass models eating a burger and shit. Like
Yeah,
and
that's
they
not-
make it look like it's realistic to be a model and eat a burger.
Yeah,
But
they make it
you
sexy.
eat that burger, you're fucked.
Yeah, there's a part in Fight Club too where they're on a bus and he's looking at a picture of an underwear model, and Tyler Durden, who's like the second main character. Did it turn off again?